Adum TV so yesi nkonya nyame aduma African Cup of Nations 2023 ana ka ese timi ba so amaso ana de abehye 2024 mu still edin 2023 no efam ho onam kroma na manfo bisa prof aden ade ne yebo no 2024 na omo friend AFCON 2023 ntim kwema na ese 2023 ana ka ese yebo sa adwumadi bato hwema ya pia de abehye 2024 na yaye eye niama a chese de bebua competition na ya church honda enti echo 2020 ntimi sesano Euros amanfo be kai the same thing happen e was in nema Asia Coast 20 Sports Mudie yebo AFCON 2023 in 2024 mejira we so dia mo akwa ba kese pa dia ba Adum TV so medin de prof Ike wala sagudie kache meni Mo Shaban na wa ha yesim kunya na yede nkomon 18 sabro. This is a preview a yehwe anim se yede beduma suko na ochina aka uhwesemese ko so na fuane de less than a day ana 18 saka na competition no 18 saka to fam ewo Ivory Coast nyame atoma yede nkomon bibiri na ebetia sabro na fo se na nyama Asia Coast yebeko inside Ivory Coast yebeko minute by minute nso nyama esi Ivory Coast na no yede honkomo ebejao ewo Adum TV so na fi other platforms as Adum 106.3 FM so Asempa 94.7 FM ene enuanema ewo Insura FM ewo Kumasi so yebekitem na yaboa ama update bi eso on set meka efa African Cup of Nations no onsa etimi aka ewo hanom nyame adoma a guest bi be join on the line na afi etian sa bonkomo akra nti ene Mr. Okache busuafo na fofo yere wo ma ofasefo na nanam ukrumu ne mprafo na se prof anya sinkunya ewo TV so nya nsore so ye ene nti ha be de ebe ni kanti odon ne ntempa so na yetimi edisa preview we preview of AFCON 2023 ana yede ebro yebe kom yebe hwe the host nation Côte d'Ivoire won ana hostu na on preparation so far anye bia no hwe omje tournament infrastructure ne ho kone ba matoto ne mayi a ansana dwumedi ne 18 sabaso na the tournament kwa ne expect ewo dwumedi a nyame adom ochena ye hwe anim se ebetua san to fam no afi wi a na yasa zoom down no ye zoom down he zoom up was yesa zoom down ne aba Ghana diem na afi hwe se Ghana squad a ye de tournament preparation say ye just one match against Namibia 0-0 or Sakense but before ebo Namibia no na Namibia for any Lagos City abo just say ma share 1-1 and say goals PM Sakense ba ebo goalless draw or Sakense case it means PM goal scoring for the best some time now no I hear a bit of a problem there Ghana na ye tournament team a ye preparation game a ye boy a ye dey ko no and also 0-100 no na say ebe yi no when na ekwohye go na man wangasa wo fi no when na adwene so betun ehye go na man so far unhu goal scorer bia e we dwumadi edi ebe hwe se ebetin afeti ana se betun de draw sa se na de draw e qualify ko World Cup no na ekugu enu ase poto no betun asa de draw asa atwa sapu kokoyi ana yɛrɛsɛ na ɛhyɛ ne besi akɔ ɛhɔnom goalkeeping nso yɛ another problem baako a ɛm sɛ Ghana fo nso adi tɛte hwɛ na nkyɛ na bo afa nipa motom saa na dɔɔso no do afei yɛsili host ni na motom yɛde batakari bi ahyɛ hɔ a ɛbɛboa ma nneɛma atia kɔ yie ɛde ama yɛ na Chris Hilton Ghana Blasters head coach no wɔhwɛ sɛ na City a okita team ni yie a obetua sa ahwɛ ama nneɛma atia kɔ Africa ha nyinaa coaches a ɛkɔ Cup of Nations no ɔno ɛne ɛyɛ the 8th highest paid coach a etua ne kaye pa no toso nwotwe ewo dwumadi a eno so 18 pm ti toso nwotwe dia na ese nsika ne ya ne sa nti ese otimi kyere bibi obetia kyere bibi ewo dwumadi ma na Ghana go bi ene Cape Verde Islands na bebo first game na afia ne Egypt for the 10 times so na afia ne Mozambique for the 10 times eno so wadwen kyere ne sen wo hwe ewo social media platforms no so amsel wo hwe sen mesi kwana do comment na ba na me adoma mumie page ne ma me ha na mentimi nkenkan comment a wodo amanfo de banana fi ye interact with them na fi hwese na nyema ebisi akọ ewudwumedi a eno so 8 pm no once again me dey the prof Ike wala sagudie catch back up ana besin kunya na ye de AFCON 2023 preview no enso 8 ja say kama pa Ghana post for techri and the dwumedi 8 ba afen so do ani 8 chirima na se Kel 360 toothpaste omse boy dwuma pa Kel 360 toothpaste no just say dental problems bia mouth protection throughout the day into myself but more than that so set to make a toothpaste bia use a portion drew what I say a portion a toothpaste the way you snap boa maniama etian kwe dia ma Kel Kiss toothpaste so hon kwala ne de ho arrest in Mexico so nye toothpaste bia ana ye de man kwala what I say but Kel ne de wo hwese in Mexico so ya de e de man kwala afi Kel charcoal toothpaste and so by en kind na no bidie no na Kel fo isa adwene ho ana om de Kel no asa bata bidie ho ti Kel charcoal toothpaste and also made with active air charcoal and afi so kwa ma wo fresh breath wo hwe mint ne ho konia ba wuma in fact you should to pace we na se osre na se wanya eye ho kania na se wonkasa wo problem fifia e se break kakra kan wansana wetimi dia komsel kill brands no opese utobia obetia friend pen for 059 3809227 05938092227 na for nem pen for ntimi ni so ehwemwa ema niema enko infama Kingdom eye heba and so the Kingdom product be braba the Kingdom garlic bitters na fe Kingdom garlic capsules aba ebo adwuma too much e boost immune system no na fe so kwa prapra emugya no efini bia wo mu bia ma otimi sampa omugya no mutimi da kogye tsanya nkonso bomodi ada son sabeka Kingdom garlic bitters and Kingdom garlic capsules omo eyade afe so kwa no New Kingdom ginseng power capsules memeduru no when I say to move so New Kingdom ginseng power capsules memeduru no man toma me man e beji dia mo adwuma amobia asoma adwono New Kingdom ginseng power capsules e stress fuel afi so boa sexual weakness there one ne beton kwanta praba bo adwuma best no hwero hane akire na still gusu gina na so edoni din e the New Kingdom ginseng power capsules ade bia ginseng wo mu bia no ane gina so kama intimisel bomodi anda so sabetu ansa kabe ma extra wale power out be bo adwuma pa tremendous capsules ne man de intuitim sampa Kingdom when ni mema bro or you just say equal right no dia na tremendous capsules so white fita na so deep na chewa a proper chili boama wahimfio no so trying to say santia chimenken na wutumi sampa obo adwuma amafo ani so chairman ba no kaso ntua no we use tremendous capsules oboa obetua mo ho amaniama etian kwedi amount and afi Kingdom Home Estate and papa na say young boys ne girls aba but say also to dan ye and Kingdom de dan aba affordable bone da fam afi dan nso mo fair facilities ne niama wo de ahyeche ma omo security mambo ho nsemo ma yiri mu pampen se dondo etine ne tunya ba bi mfamfa outimi se nsu no eba wawa yinam kania ne gina so standby generator so ha and also elbow adwuma pa intimi serew ukọ anso a yes just a few meters drive no betia kohwe ni so ade ewa Bri Botanical Gardens na afi Boti Force Safari Valley Resort and afi Tete Kwashi Memorial Hospital so ben ho a wo yare na se wo te Kingdom Home Estate antempa so no drive ukọ doctor for abo pani mienu bi na onso apomodem semetin surgery ye diamao Kingdom ohwe akiri kwan a ye right after Latte Junction no ekropon right after Latte Junction no osabeka Kingdom Home Estate ya hwaboa emaniama etiantutu ye ediamao na afi ohwe Kingdom so a mo kanshi drag lane osabetin account obetia form 0536149961 na one Kingdom for yentwetwen komo yehwemo a emaniama etianko ye emfamao Game Park Games nso tachiri pa chacha so kwa boys di a edi no enyasem ketwa ma boys di omo adwuma sa gimo ema utumi se fisa bre code the numbers no o select from 1 to 36 na watimi edi na more mula more power sika obeti le twa kita 1 Ghana cedis an kopem 350 Ghana cedis obeti edi chacha buruta mesro fa ho gym Game Park Games the eagerly anticipated pick one game no and arrival with the bank bomodi ada so the obeti sa gym na o dial *946# all networks now they are two na Facebook kwa www.gameparkgames.com yani kan say wadum TV so no ye the draw no eba 9 pepe na draw number 12 noon draw no awia kataba so yesan bie pono de to na fe 6 pm anwumre enso betia say di no nsia pepe no na etia san ba so nti wandi anopa obetia di awia wandi awia so betia di anwumre obetia di anopa e di awia esan di anwumre e di apersona boa maniama etia kwa di amount Game Park Games osemomula more power mo tachiri pa National Lottery Authority for paying for ana ADHD ebo amajumeti etia sakoyi afi so kwa ni mu firi ngotwe mfa honyim chacha di wa wadwene betia bomutim betia hyehyew wanhwa na nkoye asempapa amfama e wosena niama AC ekoso quickly menko my special guest Mo Shaban in fact in terms of statistics and records in recently at times here Western Mexico so agenda ni sabe na academy say onope ana wapi interest na niama ezi elko mo bia come there
prof bia come
very good cup of nations ya kan wasema ejabo ejenya bedu we anyame adom china ana competition e chase o memories e cup of nations mo recall o memories I think
prof make us a cup of nations say competition can Africa boom edm boom since 1957 competition by dominance of North African countries or West African countries or modern ball in all the Cambu Mobeka say idea every 2 years biano revive a memory ema yenya the output of players now aside that since 1957 you share an aspect of Cup of Nations where at a point in time dominated by local based players from 1957 we say local based players na dominating AFCON after we do an era foreign based players na dey dominating to we say and they a key player be to say Mohamed Salah or Liverpool at a point in time we say Europeans in some release more players more na your controversy na afi I was say penifo de omanu tum na we release such players more at a point in time na we say Sadio Mane be Liverpool na amumienu amuye key players amu lead attack na si January amu moving bebo AFCON na afi in same bebre then we say a player be say Kudus or West Ham yes be releasing na controversy yes we prior and once the Cup of Nations are do maybe crowd na teams be to make us a player be we put that cover Cup of Nations now we studying nya honden aba now we check another history of Cup of Nations in terms of trophy ones we share a dominance from 1957 at a point in time ebe remove 60s one more Egypt to me the maiden edition of the Cup of Nations in 1957 Ghana also making a debut in 1963 Ghana to me and 65 Ghana Sansu G 78 Ghana Sansu G 82 Ghana G. Now interesting aspect of the Cup of Nations with regards to Ghana's dominance in 60s and also in the point in time back in 78 near say Ghana aji 2 Cup of Nations as hosts, Ghana aji 2 Cup of Nations as playing in the North African country. Into the statistics no kwa Juma Cup of Nations we anka Ghana yede embem because 2 aji no Ghana and ya sanso ju 2 e North African country and ye dey call. But another statistics shows say even though yaji 2 North Africa yaji 2 e host no Ghana coach any to me DNG and no sure abako same so Chris Hughton. Of course, or Ghana near, I don't see a factor able to me play, but the North African aspect no key way woman. Now, another aspect is not me dream is I didn't Ivory Coast, or Maya Esson. Now, we share the records of Cup of Nations, and we who see back up away any second time. They means that in terms of preparations and so, almost sure Maya quickly over to me, I atutunyama quick. Now we who say, and that is why since 2019, and then was Ivory Coast. AOC tournaments. Now, much children who are come Egypt. Yes, I see defeat Egypt. Come Cameroon and Sana. Even we Yanke was here born last year. Yes, also the about this year. It means that Ivory Coast, in terms of preparations, and even though the tournaments in the course of a good game, BB atmosphere and good no. In terms of preparations, say na cafe who say ya maya to delay, and that is why in recent years somebody are changed. It means that we share the next time Ivory Coast be host cry. That's then ache. Because who the more to me train so manage. Now, we share that dominance. I share say might be say Egypt. With me a Cup of Nations no do. Now, also Osanji 7 times as champions in North African side. Now we who so might be say Cameroon in recent times urging a 5th trophy. Eddie Can Emma we share might say Ghana abeji 4 trophies. Nigeria money now Eddie achieve with the trophies of Cup of Nations. Show the dominance of these countries in terms of performance in the Cup of Nations. Of course, a record, Egypt na your Maya wajatu miansa in the history of Cup of Nations. So Maya Abako Sem 2006, almost Ghana 2008, and 2010 almost Ghana and Sim. Now, another factor interesting about this Cup of Nations is Ivory Coast also a host. Cup of Nations no ajimumi Cup of Nations are wasanso ajimumi no. Or this Cup of Nations no Ghana and Sim. And it means that we share the last time I call final 1992 Omuji Cup of Nations defeat same 2015 almost had defeat and now so through penalty shootout. It means that Ivory Coast also can make a record or win the AFCON or Maya friend Ghana in same if it is other country they can't win it. And that is another record a back Cup of Nations. Now we share runners up so Ghana runners up ni bibri or Cup of Nations and the last one I did na you here that 2015 final against Ivory Coast. Then in 2010 against Egypt. In recent times, so to me say Ghana ko AFCON na anwene sen ye kwa yintumi nko yeden common ebro. Conversation say ne besa to aso awadum TV so ene other platforms so ntimi so bia wo bia na odwani etiansa kire ha na oni etiansa bompuni afia den common etiansa ja ye other guest almost online enchi bia no ye ne omoso betia twe kona afia resen ne ma besi akọ the Amasa competition and also
now it's the final. It was a tough one, and it was a final that was clearly fit for the gods. It was a final. The 2 great nations in Africa, Egypt and Cameroon, no BISBC, that level of resilience, that level of experience, that level of history, and that level of quality. And again, the Ghana against Nigeria game I bought in 2008. Antoniana Mikel Obimatch and John Mensah red card, and again, how Ghana sneaked through and performing to the final in the 2010 and Mohamed Dedo in the last 10 minutes in the 20. But there will be some memory for the AFCON there. These were games that Mekai and forever will be in my memory. I know it said this 1 or 2 games I did me, but for me, these were games that Mekai forever and ever so far as the Africa competition is concerned.
Okay, we'll make mention of some countries like Egypt, or Mackenzie, some Cameroon boy, what the Ghana and Nigeria about competition. This current AFCON year by so countries in our Gibbs Bena, okay, and our fishes now, Oceano, and our facility and meetings are standard now, okay, say, Oshea site. From
Ghana, Ethiopian referee will not be there. Patrick Gassama, proud to this particular tournament, yesterday, opening it or retire. It's a shame because you believe we said at the apex of their career and what they've been able to exhibit so far as African football is concerned. And Kaya now Obenya said, give me to say, Obenya top officiating said, everything about big name and everything. But unfortunately, those referees will not be represented. But for Enya Europe and say, and my good friend Antonio Matula Horse, arguably the best Spanish referee in the day. And when they go to the level of Pierluigi Collina, the likes of Massimiliano Ierati, Andres Fritz, Marcus Meck, Andres Petana, and all these referees, and almost time so almost calling the day for almost adequate. You will be missing some key officials at this particular AFCON. But for me, if we are looking at one AFCON for a bear fighting, a bear ceremony, a bear monumental, you're doing that top quality officiating, top level football, and the big teams at the Maya footballer, a night and a day to forget that. For me, and in this particular AFCON, could you go up on ready to almost prepare all to play for, and we believe with a bear AFCON will be any better, just a minute to crown, when you want to see so far as this particular AFCON you're concerned.
Okay, enti Andy Kem we dey obetwentwen so kakra dey ma me online so no nkrobo a ye be kwa kofa game par games the chacha from kwetian samba the eagerly anticipated pick one game no the live draw ebetian sabre na ye hu sena ne ma AC eko honom ye ba ye be hwe Ivory Coast for so asa ya de wu na enwom nso ya de pa so pechijinga pa nyame adoma open ceremony dey na expect say enwom no ne asa no dey am say Cote d'Ivoire de obi anim sena ne ma si koso Premier Gaou Nepa Gaou o rest na Messi koso no mu shiki chale o tena de be hu papa ntino enche bia no ye be kwakofa game par game so share so kono star 946#. All networks now they are to be game par games no we try 1 Ghana cedis till 350 Ghana cedis obetimi di 26 times no na boa emaniama etia kwe di amount se emfa Ghana Pools so mfamu ha na fama phone say Ghana Pools so mo ya de pa interior Messi kosa they unwrap the magic with the Ghana Pools as omo touch Ghanaian ones no as osene out any pass bia to love one across the country no Ghana Pools so betia sa hwaboa emaniama etia kwe di amount Ghana Post some social media handles na Ghana Post GH na hash enso ewachiri na Facebook Instagram na Twitter so nyina no wo hwe Ghana Post and sabetia.com omo WhatsApp ni WhatsApp us Ghana Post for obese ye dey pass be ko be my WhatsApp yen 0542 527004 0542 527004 na on Ghana Post engines also the vibrant colors of traditional African dresses no kentene batakari ne onkoniaba obese wutimi ya obetia hwa bomba ne abatia kwedi amanti yako game par game studios na yakofa live draw ne ba and the cable line no still bigina so ache na afi so kra no mu shaban so ha everything edin south so ne aboa emma preview enso ewiyi Vim no was here the cap no e bagana se beye ne the cap no so bagana no so e another story nyame adoma e be bono e wodwumadi ensu na afi wo se na nema esi eko na ye ne and came na ehwehwe nkomo a while ago and ekofa game pack games live draw no so it sabrel yes to anko hwehwe no so de fia no we ma akwaba kese pa e de aba the preview of AFCON 2023 on Adom TV meeting the Prof Ike Wallace agudi catch back up the only nomenclature professor's degree in sports the Alregina Wallace the nation's presenter and Messim Kunya na yede Sanchez on Queen Sabrel from 9 till 10 time na media na uhwese na Mexico Samu Shaban ewa in terms of statistics there obeti more ewo dwumadi so Andy came so line so from Kumasi nti yehwe both sides of the real no na fie ho se na nyama besi akọ ewo dwumadi a yedi na meka before meja Andy came on me say opening ceremony la Cote d'Ivoire for what is anyo premier gawu ne pa gawu e je Cote d'Ivoire panom de wiki baba onyi ni se enwum ni
omo the likes of Frederick Mewe mu ni na so mu de enwum Frederick
nti opening ceremony I just want to imagine how opening ceremony be siako enyasem ketwa kwa nyom na Cote d'Ivoire for nyom ni asa enyasem ketwa kwa mapuka seleo gede mo gede what is anyom ne da oh me ya de tu na premier gawu ne pa gawu what is anyom ne da omo tunyo Cote d'Ivoire for
mapuka nyom ne number 1
say premier gawu ne pa gawu no enkanjiro bia one dance for doso e no mutu no sa onyo
those days 2000s boy papa mu koto mapuka anyom ne de show dem VCD no omuto na mu de sie nti e school alo
tu no mo bo hwe mapuka tumi wo mu say ti premier gawu ne pa gawu na say enkanjiro bia one dance akpapa bi na say o trance omo de ka ne yere omo de ka ti o friend you know ka chen say me bitu kwan na say me koba kana edini na mkopa dwuma bia me ba ma betua papa ne ka che ne wi ya odan ne ho na yere so fe ne best friend o ka kire no se mi kunu se kana yedede no o kina no pa obi ye film o yi film a okoko prince ka no dia ba wanye ska so be ka krum ho ne yere ne ka kina danfo wi na danfo so ka kina danfo ono so wi se mi kunu madamfo no ne kunu de ka no o kina no pa okọ ti papa ne kodu airport no na o ma de ne kai na je na airport o twen no enkanjiro bia the premier gawu ne pa gawu
ela prof omunyu ko awon ti ase ko foul eni kan ko ase
mapuka seleo
mapuka gele
mo jale ochina de opening ceremony ebede nti rest na nema ebesi akọ e wo sa dwumadi no so ebetua sa piem no menim Andy wala no so still okay nti yehwe sena nema ebesi akọ ewo dwumadi a no so etuensa pie no but say yehwe expectations ewo sena nema esi akọ Chris Hughton Blasters of Ghana head coach so the team na preparation yambra zoom into Ghana ohwe sena nema esi akọ a say inti Chris Hughton komo na nsa eba na afia de aka na kan Chris Hughton head coach for the senior national soccer team Blasters of Ghana and alternate castle day ne shesha etuensa to jam after the first and then the last game your boy as part of your preparation they call Cup of Nations against Namibia no and ojije sankumo we mu a ehonum emza manfo kra bisa say identity went me ama players of local business so called opportunity ama so entian sanchiro bobre but quickly sanko Ghana's ambassador to Cote d'Ivoire ono so kasa kakra inti ono so ne nkomo na afi wi a na wakani na afra na afi His Excellency Frederick Daniel Lai, on your Ghana's ambassador to la Cote d'Ivoire, and our tenant council work camo team no kama pa at the Abahonum. But Ghana team no kono na omona na Efra Kentino, and me adu me home comobiti and Saba, but briefly on coach no and she said and I feel so warm welcome a Ghana's ambassador the team na.
Yeah, Prof, Mr. Pressure started by early days of Chris Hughton's time because on the first game against Angola or Kumasi. And not me picking that win. After that win, about 2 consecutive draws. Now, on records, Chris, with friendly games, 3 hours, but once we about 2 friendly games, it was Mexico, USA, and we ball back against Namibia. In 10 games, we win 4, and we lose 2-3. 2 against 2 was an international friendly against USA and also Mexico. And Sana, only we lose against Comoros. And Sana, this draw against Namibia. So obviously, Opeki coach Chris since last 4 games say move back up and we win. So clearly the pressure will come and that is why most Ghanaians are of the thought say be a bit me a tough tournament in the African Cup of Nations. Another school of thought such as yes, if we struggle in preparations at a point in time and also to mean a positive impact on you. So two school of thought. One, I believe is say bread in preparations are tournament in between more smooth run because you've been able to learn from your mistakes. Another school of thought who believe in say tournament now I'm prepared now performance on Koya, it will still continue in the tournament, and that is another factor was say coach need to make sure. Now, Oshe the matches are but obviously most of the people and you're so convinced in terms of results. If you are 10 games now, we win 4 matches. Now in your last 4 matches, Baku entering Koye. But Oshe preparations of Ghana at a point now information about Bontin say call South Africa for preparations. We need to switch our attention to Ghana, Kumasi to prepare for the tournament. And we comment by say at a point
yes not one commotion so na ye hwe consulting a while ago obonkomo hakra e fa how why prepared the amasa kins kesi amafo obonkomo minim so what ya ye say na team say wo abysmal performance proud to competition say no omo timi koya de consulting kan sa coaches na omo ekwakoya de no
ho prof consulting en kire obabia say we can rely on him so far as this particular tournament is concerned. In America, sir, this is a top coach. The over Africa countries are so far as the AFCON is concerned. But AFCON is 3 coaches and AFCON we are making Ajibia almost ever. Oka Hugo Bruce of South Africa, Oka Jamal Benmaldi of Algeria, and then you're talking about Lee Cisse of Senegal. We want 3 coaches Prof. Omachini Aba, Omabe Jibi. Normal Samba. You will say, when the coach is almost about this particular tournament, how many of them have any opportunity to coach in the English Premier League? Again, you can even go back from coaches who have won the tournament from Clive Becker, Clement Westerhoff in 94, Clive Becker in 96, Obeka Mohamed Oguhari in 1998, Obeka Wilfred Schaefer in 2000, Wilfred Schaefer in 2002, Obeka Roger Lemaire in 2004. You talk about the 3 consecutive trophies under Hassan Shahata. Obeka Obise Javier Renner, Obeka Obise Stephen Keshi, the big boss, Prof. Obeka Hugo Bruce Yamekanya, Odibiru Amababirum Jamal Benmadi, Ali Cisse. That coach here, Prof. Mekanya. How many of them have a chance to coach in the Premier League, the biggest league in the game so far as football is concerned? It is to have a coach who has found his trade among the very best in the game. No, now you be fun so make coach Ghana, you expect a lot. But you must say, apart from coaching in the Premier League, we have the opportunity to coach the Blasters and send a performance this year. And in terms of Shaban, a statistician, so there's no need to go back into the statistics. But Prof, statistically, you can say Christian are bad, but in all, for me, he's the luckiest coach Ghana employed in the last 40 years. It didn't America, so she obey Jumano as a Blasters coach. Matches Ankasa Blasters Ankasa Bonpo. We played against teams of Wofem. Meaning, Ghanaians are quick to say that there are still no minutes in the game, but football there are still minutes. The facts are clear. For Africa Cup of Nations, now you can check from 1980 or the Bayna, Obekase, Namibia, Obekase, Angola, Obekase, Botswana, Obekase, countries, Malawi, Tanzania. We don't consider them as the big guns, the creme de la creme in Africa football. Or there could be times or because so a major asset. Sierra Leone in the last AFCON, but Sierra Leone in the last AFCON, and obviously the asset is part of the game. That is why we say that football is full of uncertainty. It's the Professor coach never foul now against Central African Republic,
okay,
against Comoros, against Madagascar, against Angola, against Liberia, against Namibia. I wish Ghana coach here in the playing promo against this side and come with me a bomb of the Ankasa. It's Christian getting results against this side. Me fight US and Mexico the encounter because Mexico is US only ball watcher in there. Let's not deceive ourselves. Say yes, US in 2006, we beat them in 2010. when we meet them in 2014, almost to say, if those teams are ahead of us, if I won't waste much time comparing those national teams to Ghana. But for Ghana, against Namibia at the Barbara Sports Stadium, now you struggle. You will say, under 15, James Ben Yakakobona, we are yet here winning. Under 15 at the Barbara Sports Stadium, first half go back up and appropriate me. So, who can coach now? AFCON, a lot depends on the coach because Nigeria team no more buy or over jail. Almost the quarterfinal no more against a Cote d'Ivoire. And before the letter breast to be kept to but with the resilience, with the tactical plan, with that acumen and the level of intelligence, how do you mean the AFCON? And Rantin to Mr. Cote d'Ivoire could go ahead to win it. You will have your Renediano. In Zambia, they know only quality the baby.
Okay.
I agree to a certain level. But no, my prepare almost from 2008. Kunya Habirina, Oma the last of Stokila Sinzu, Isaac Chanza, Emmanuel Mayuka, Christopher Kotombo, also with the Rainford Maestro, the Master Kalaba, of farm ranching in Kennedy in the thick of events or the Omurem. Your coach here, on show promise, on show say Ghana Funya to Swania Pepa, may relax say, so probably a Ghana game now. We are good to go. So for me, a lot will depend on Chris Hilton and what he's shown so far as giving the opportunity to be the coach of the Black Stars on top. But my enough to say, you beat me at Saturn so far as this Afcon commencing Yampa.
Okay. And the way the medal say, na Major Ho, Namia Duma say such conversations will continue on Dream TV. It's the best to us Sonia Fro, na yet Timia Sam Comonia try say, beating Abua, and Magana Fonsonia, the up to date information on the African Cup of Nations, La Côte d'Ivoire. Medal Sibibri. Okay. Mo, briefly, na fiye.
Yeah, so we
who of the view say, send an as a basa class celebrating.
Oh, it's any now said they make kind, you know, if your players need put in a lot of effort, we are likely to the group stage because that group stage if we put in effort, we will be able to qualify from the group stage.
Okay. See, if we put in effort, we are going to bypass the group stage cry. Now group stage never bypass here. In the high still Adom TV so AFCON 2023 preview kakani Debra Onyame Adoma e be sande nkomo mo na tua sabro me the Prof Ike wala sagudi catch back up and I'm gina of course this wonderful edition of the preview no and so it tua sabai radin ka hono ntin anima onye okese if be need so ni fanko be need so the act of being a good guest is to now to say Côte d'Ivoire au revoir.